Hey, how are you today?
Great. How are you?
Good. Thank you for meeting with me. I really enjoyed watching your lesson and being a part of your classroom. I thought we could start off today with talking about what you felt went well in your lesson today.
The just I was like proud of the kids for managing their own behavior. Was a good part of it. They did pretty well with that with a couple little reminders.
I was going to say, to add to that, I made a note of I liked how you added in the dojos for on task behavior because they were, majority of everyone was on task, and sending those reminders kind of made those few that weren't like kind
Yeah.
of tidy up a little bit. So I thought you did a good job with casually like adding that in. You didn't
Yeah,
overdo
just
it.
when
You
it
didn't
started to
underdo
get
it.
loud, I just kind of
Yeah, it
threw that
worked.
in there. Yeah, it was effective. And then I actually looked over just before I came down. I looked over their results,
Hmm.
and it was interesting to see who put true and false on some of the more obvious. And this part is like unaccessible because it was just an opinion that they wrote down true or false in their
Right.
before column. But I don't know. They all but like a couple knew what to do, which was nice. I only had to give instructions once for the most part, which has been a struggle for this group,
Hmm.
especially when I don't know if you were in there yet, but I was like, okay, there's gonna be this is 3 step, and they struggle with 2.
Hmm.
So I've been really slowing down and just like slowing things down and walking them through the beginning, and it's been a time sacrifice, but
Right.
it pays off
Yeah.
when I don't have a bunch of kids walking up to me in the middle of it. Like, what do I now? What do I do now? What do I do?
So that's what I was wondering. Have you, and my experience with first grade, this might be a little more first grade.
Yeah.
So, but have you ever thought of doing like a first and then, like,
A visual.
yeah, instead of doing like, I know like in the younger grades we use like clip art pictures, but if
Yeah.
you typed it out and had like first and you wrote out the steps
Mhm.
and then you had then and you listed their options, like that
Yeah.
might be something on the board after you explicitly like give it. It might be another way to just be like, okay, redirect to the board and kind of have it up there.
I do have I've tried it with Classroom Screen. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just there's like a picture in the background. There's a timer. There's a little spot where you can type,
Okay.
and that's basically what that was. Is you got to do this first, then you do this, then you do this.
Okay.
And they never really got used to. They were still leaning on me,
Right.
and so I talked to the other third grade teachers, and they do a ketchup mustard pickle thing. So I got a slide together for that, and I was hoping to intro it this week. I haven't gotten to it yet, but
Another one that's
I agree
similar
with you
to that,
I agree with you that they need a visual.
yeah, is a must do may do, because the ketchup,
Yeah.
mustard, and pickles sometimes could be like a lot on you as a teacher to prep all those steps too. So a must do may do kind of might be an easier step to do, like start with that. And
Yeah.
then once they get good with that, then add in the third step.
Yeah.
Because I know you're saying like the 2 step, 3 step, but the must do would have all the things like the first, and then the may
Yeah.
do would be the then, and then you can
Maybe
eventually
I'll just use 2 of them to start, so
Yeah.
that visual doesn't
scaffold it.
change.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Just so it's not overload on you and overload on them.
That one really shocked me this year. With it's stuff like put that in your folder and then go get your backpack, like at the end of the day, and they're just like,
Yep.
Whoa, bro.
Yeah.
Easy.
I would try then those
Slow
and see how that helps. That's actually was one of my recommendations.
Yeah, that's on the list, and I wanted to get to it this week, and I've neglected it basically. But
Well, that's fine because you have to take
it's
the
on the
time
radar,
to
for sure.
explicitly teach it.
that's
So,
why, as I've been, I just don't want to give it 15 minutes, and I know I'm going to have to.
Right. Okay. So then, what areas are you curious or considering about fixing next time you do that, or is there an area that you felt like, okay, that didn't go as planned or how I'd like?
I don't want the group that I'm with. We're good, obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't want them to have to partner read all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just doing that for their benefit. For when we have something that's like multiple pages, I have just enough people that are not at the table with me
Right.
that would like shut down just at the sight and not even attempt.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm still allowing them to do that, but it's on its way out.
Yeah.
So I've been slowly, and then the way that I've been easing that in is I don't work with that small group, and I make myself available to just walk around
Yeah.
when I'm making them read it on their own. And then I just find another time to work with that small group.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, I was going to ask you. So, with was like for those lessons, is the goal that like they need to read it and then be able to retain it and then answer it. Because I just wasn't sure if like for those like the ones like that group you're working with and they're reading it, are they able like are they focused so much on trying to read it that they're not retaining it, or are are they able to?
I kind of pick my spots where I have to
Right.
go through the material 1st,
Mhm.
and I know going in that there's like 2 or 3 paragraphs that I'm going to have to read
Right.
because they're crucial. That group would normally have a lower lexile
Okay.
text,
Yeah.
but because this had all those true false,
Yeah.
they had to get
Right.
that full text.
Yeah.
They had to. So I just used my reactions to point out important stuff.
Right.
So it would be like, even if they were kind of choppy reading through it, if we got to the point where they have like a tooth-like thing on their tentacle, I'd be like, oh my gosh, there's a. And
I heard
they
you.
just
Yeah.
like,
they're like, wait.
again,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Because I didn't know if
So
just
it's a
like
bit of a spoon feed. But
right.
They do pretty well with that lower
Yeah.
level text. Those Storyworks have it on level.
I was still
on
impressed
lower.
though with how they were reading, especially Brooklyn. I was like, wow, she's come a long
Brooklyn's,
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's the
she
best.
didn't know her
at it.
alphabet in first grade,
Yeah.
so that was amazing to see. Yeah. So I just didn't know if like, but you said you have some of the lower text or sometimes if maybe like they try to read it on their own, and then maybe there's like a video read to them of it, so then like they're trying first and then they go back and
That's
to
a good
make sure
idea.
they're actually.
Yeah.
I know a lot of times like with Scholastic News and things like that, they already have a version of it for as kids,
They
so
do.
that way you don't have to like recreate the wheel. But I would say like still giving them access to trying to read it first on their own, but then giving them the next step. Okay, now we're going to listen to it and then we're going to answer the questions, because I fear if like, and again I'm not with them so I don't know, but I fear if like they're just reading it and say you can't meet with that group at that time, they're going to read it and then the information is going to go like,
well, that's what after you left, Harper, and she got pulled for intervention.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate the in and out stuff. It's
Yeah.
so
It's hard.
difficult. And so she flipped open her computer after a couple minutes, and I was like, "Did you read that?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I called her back. And I was like, "How'd you like it? Like what?" And she knew nothing. Like I don't know if she didn't even try,
Yeah.
but so I read it again with her.
Mm-hmm. So I was going to ask that too, like for the other group's kids, besides just like trusting that they read it, how do you know, like, do you do any, I guess they're able to answer do they answer the other side after?
We're going to do that tomorrow.
Okay.
But so I'll do it's not enough for sure.
Right.
But I'll do a what did you think?
I was going to say a quick, like, tell me your favorite
and
thing
so
you
I'll
read.
get, like I have like 10 that I'm not worried about.
Right.
And so I'll call on, like there's 5 in there-ish where I'm like, I need to know what was going on. So I'll call on like 7 kids, and those 5 are going to get called on. Like,
right. I was going to say maybe even 2 if they're able to.
It's not enough, but it's more than nothing.
But you have to be realistic with the time you have.
Exactly.
So I mean, I would say too, if they're able to give you that like answer, whatever it is, definitely dojo them and be like, I love that you were like accountable and actually read, or not actually read, but and were able to read.
Of course.
Okay, so that kind of ties into how we think the students responded. I feel like they enjoyed. I mean, I love those kinds of articles or things like that because they're interesting. It's like new information.
Yeah, there's gross stuff and gross and ridiculous and.
Now was that their first? Like, did you do anything else with those with like them learning about squids or like those things before? Was this their first?
No, they saw some. I had some text feature slides that had some of those text features on them, and so the only thing that they had would have been what they read through.
Which, speaking of text features, I liked how with that group you redirected and kept using the word text features and asking them what kind of text feature it was. That was like a seamless like tie-in with that. That was really good.
I've been trying to spiral as much as I can just because I hate. Like there's a couple standards that I did weeks 1 through 3, and that was August. Like.
Yeah. But I feel like the more, like, especially with the way the district's going now and the emphasis on standards, I feel like I am more, like, intentional. Like, you were intentional with that. I feel like it's easier to be more intentional because we know them so well now because they're hammered into us that, like, you can spiral so much easier because we're like, oh, that makes you think of it. So I noticed how intentional you were with that, and that was, like, a really good moment to tie that in because then they were able to, like, notice it while doing something else, like not exactly a text
it's
feature.
It's like proof that it is actually valuable, like instead of me just handing them a worksheet.
Yeah. And then I was curious. I think those were all. Yeah, the must do, may do. So moving forward, like maybe an extension with this lesson, or like maybe next time you do it, or anything. Do you have like any goals with how you want to change this moving forward, or what you want to extend onto this, or do you think you're in a good
With
spot?
I would not be able to answer that until they finish
To finish the sheet.
because
Well, I think a good goal could be setting a goal, like a time frame for when you want to implement the mustard, ketchup, pickles, or the mustard
Yeah.
mayo. Maybe that's a good goal because I feel like that's an
I'll be
easy
able to
one.
do that by end of week for
Yeah.
sure.
So end of week slides. Now, did they share their mustard, ketchup, pickle with you? If not,
Yeah, I have one.
okay. I was gonna say I have a couple versions of them too.
I don't know where it came
So,
from, but it was in my drive. So
Okay. But if you end up needing, or you notice, because you know how sometimes they get sick of looking at the same thing. So if that gets old, I have other versions of it you can have.
Yeah.
And then maybe for like future ones too, like if you're not able to get a lower level for that group, maybe you can try the first try to read it on your own. Then you
yeah, I
can
like that a
listen.
lot.
I feel like, especially with them already
I didn't
having,
even consider them listening.
Yeah.
But that'd be a good idea because it would hopefully it would like wake them up a little bit. Like this is what everybody's reading.
Right.
Not that I don't want to shame the children or anything, but
Right.
it might light a fire
You're right.
in a sense. Like,
Oh no.
yeah,
Yeah.
This is tough. I better.
Yeah.
I think it could work.
Yeah, definitely.
My only fear when you immediately said that is there's one girl in that group that is like one of the like criminal minds, smart type thing, and I know that I'm going to tell her to read it, and she's going to whine, and then she's going to get that read to her, and then next time she's just going to be like, yeah, I read it,
Yeah.
and just but I mean,
So
it's
maybe
getting read to her now anyway. So
Right. And if anything, that's just allowing you more time to
circulate.
Yeah, but maybe we can come up with some kind of a way to like.
I want to try it
accountable.
anyway for sure.
Yeah, but then too, like if like then too, like if Sally were to see it or someone, you can show like one, still giving them access to the grade level text by first having them read, but then to get that comprehension piece where they can answer and participate in the grade level questions, and then giving them access through them listening. But first they're attempting to read and then they'll listen.
Yeah.
Because I think then they'll be able to participate more by knowing what's going on, and then you have more time to help the whole group.
Teach.
Yeah. Well, I think those are two good goals and things you can try, and
Definitely.
I'm here as a resource if I can help.
Excellent.
Okay.
We're done?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in.